finally back to the Nelson Speaks podcast. I know it's been a while. It's been about a month or two, which is absolutely insane. I had to take a little break because the uploading wasn't working, so I had to stop, but we figured out a way to resolve that, and I got a new microphone which should fix the audio problems. And I'm really excited to be back, and I'm excited to make more podcasts. So let's get into our first story. So this happened on Christmas Day in Georgia, and it's about a man who broke into a Taco Bell. Yeah, he broke into a Taco Bell. Out of all the places you could break into, why break into a Taco Bell? Because you could break into anywhere, but he chose a Taco Bell. But he then proceeded to make food. He ate some food, but then he left some. So apparently this guy's a chef and a professional sleeper because he slept in the Taco Bell. So he broke in, he prepared food, and then he took a nap, which was, I don't know how to describe how weird that is, but it wasn't open. But he decided he wanted a festive feast and take a nap while it. So police have asked for the public's help in identifying the man who broke into the restaurant, so they don't even know who he was. This is actually insane. I don't know why or how this happened, but it happened. So our second story comes from Flowood, Missouri. Or no, Mississippi. I can't read state initials. 2 men have been accused of gluing winning numbers onto lotto tickets. So they thought they were big brain and thought they could make their ticket a winning ticket. So Otis Latham, I probably pronounced that wrong, a 47-year-old, and Russell Sparks, a 48-year-old, were arrested Monday and charged with offenses including uttering counterfeit instrument over $1,000. The State Lottery Commission called Flowood police about the fake ticket earlier that morning. A man named Sergeant Adam Nelson, it's a coincidence, said officers were told the suspects presented an altered $100,000 ticket that appeared to have the winning numbers glued onto it. I don't think they would have believed that any time ever, because you're gonna see if there's a glued on lotto ticket. It's not gonna be hard to spot. If you just glue a number on from the daily newspaper, I think they're gonna notice that. The men, both of Columbus, were set to appear in court Tuesday. It's unclear if they have lawyers, so showing that they're that down to glue on lottery ticket numbers, they probably don't have lawyers. So that happened. And then this next story comes from Lake Worth Beach, Florida. And when somebody in a Florida neighborhood heard chilling cries and the words "let me out," they dialed 911. Well, little did they know that the cries were of a 40-year-old parrot named Rambo. So the parrot was crying, "let me out." So after the call, 4 Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputies pulled up and questioned a man who appeared to be repairing a car in his driveway, or preparing a parrot trap. The Palm Beach Post reports that when the deputies explained their concerns, the man smiled, then told deputies he'd introduce them to the perpetrator, which, remember, is a parrot, so they're acting as if it's a real person. When he returned with the parrot, the deputies burst out laughing. But the man told officers that he taught Rambo to scream "let me out" when he was a kid, and Rambo lived in a cage. I'm honestly surprised the police believed that, because anything can happen in Florida. And if you have a parrot screaming "let me out," I'm gonna be questioning that, because there's been cases before that I've heard about where parents were actually part of a actual court case because they had mimicked the voices of like what had happened in houses, which is actually insane. So they should probably look more into that. Our next thing isn't an article. I just want to talk about the Australian wildfires. Honestly, I think that it's ridiculous how bad it is now, because I don't know how it has started yet, and I need to look more into that, but it's just insane how bad it is. Like, because Australia is a whole continent, and it's almost completely on fire, and it takes a lot to set a whole continent on fire, because we had the California fires in 2018, we had the 2019 Siberia fires, we had the Amazon forest fires, which were awful, and now we have this. So I don't know what we're gonna do, because this one is apparently like 10 times worse than the Amazon fires. So we need to do something about that and do it fast, otherwise we're about to lose a whole continent. So our next thing is on the NFL. So on Sunday at 3:05, Saturday at 4:35, we have the Minnesota Vikings against the San Francisco 49ers. Saturday at 8:15 Eastern Time, we have the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. Sunday at 3:05 Eastern Time, we have the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. And Sunday at 6:40, we have the Seattle Seahawks and the Green Bay Packers. My predictions for this: San Francisco and Minnesota Vikings. Probably the 49ers. That speaks for itself. Same for Baltimore Ravens and Tennessee Titans. Lamar Jackson is going to pretty much, carry the Ravens across that field. And then my favorite team, the Chiefs against the Texans. I'm hoping that the Chiefs win just because I like them. But if we look more into it, you never know. I really like the Chiefs, but the Texans have J.J. Watt and all of them, so it's going to be a really close match. And then you have the Seattle Seahawks and the Packers. The Seahawks are probably going to win that just because of Russell Wilson. Yes, he's old and all that, but he'll do his job, and he'll get through that. Next week, I'm thinking that it's going to be 49ers, Ravens, Chiefs, and Seahawks. So that's going to be the 4 teams that I think. Super Bowl-wise, I would like the Kansas City Chiefs. But, so my 2 predictions will be the Chiefs and the 49ers, or the Ravens and the 49ers. That's my prediction, because the Packers or the Seahawks, there's no way they're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl with just the few guys that they have that are actually good. So either they work something out or they're going to fall off first. For the injury report, we have, for out on the Vikings, we have Jaron Kearse with his toe and his knee. And then Adam Thielen is questionable with his ankle. For the 49ers, D Ford with his quadricep and hamstring is questionable. Titans is Jayon Brown with his shoulder. Adam Humphries, ankle. Cody Hollister with his ankle. There's a lot of ankles. For the Ravens, there's Mark Andrews with his ankle. Mark Ingram with his calf. Texans, questionable is Jahil Adi. I probably pronounced that terribly. And it's his knee. Jordan Atkins with his hamstring. Keon Crossan with his hamstring. Darren Fells with his hip. Will Fuller with his groin. Jonathan Joseph, hamstring. And Kenny Stills with his knee. For my Chiefs, it is Morris Claiborne. I can't pronounce that. with his shoulder, and then questionable is Chris Jones with his calf and Travis Kelce with his knee. Now, I have looked into the Travis Kelce situation, and it looks like he should be good to go for this next Sunday because there's footage of him practicing, and it looks like he's doing all right, so we should be pretty good. And then doubtful for the Seahawks is Mike Lupati with his neck, and then questionable is Ezekiel Ansah with his neck, Marquise Blair with his ankle, Duane Brown with his knee, George Fant with his I pronounced it terribly, with his groin, Quentin Jefferson with his ankle, and the Packers is Kenny Clark with his back, Tyler Lancaster, he's sick, and Dan Vital with his knee, and Dexter Williams with an illness. So it's going to be interesting because we have a lot of guys out. So yeah, that's going to be really interesting. So I'll try to, podcasting wise, I'll try to upload more. I'm actually trying to get a job, so let's see how that goes. And if that goes, I'll update you guys with that, and I'll figure out a schedule for podcasting. I'm going to try to keep up with the podcasting schedule from now on, just because I actually have a setup and everything. So yeah, I'll keep you guys up with that. But until then, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night.